I'm Patrick Lee. I'm a rancher and saddle maker in the John Day Valley, and I've spent most of the last 54 years somewhere in the greater John Day Basin. And I've come to understand that this old river and its tributaries is the lifeblood of this basin. It supplies the water and the feed for our fish and wildlife, as well as for our domestic crops and livestock. It also supplies most of our recreation and some of the most beautiful scenery in the world. Grant County is situated in east central Oregon at the southern tip of the Blue Mountains. It has a wide variety of landscapes, from an elevation of 1,800 feet along the John Day River to its highest point, 9,038 feet on top of scenic Strawberry Mountain. Grant County has a resource-based economy relying heavily on timber and livestock. Other agricultural commodities include hay, grain, and a 200-acre orchard which produces a variety of fruits, including apples, pears, and cherries. Part of this orchard is certified organic. Tourism is also important, with attractions such as the John Day Fossil Beds National Monument and the Strawberry Mountain Wilderness. The county also has numerous fishing and big game hunting opportunities. Grant Soil and Water Conservation District, headquartered in John Day, Oregon, was formed in 1956 to address natural resource conservation concerns in the county. Oregon has 45 districts in 36 counties. The enabling legislation charged the districts to protect renewable natural resources. Districts are unique subdivisions of the state. The organizational policy and direction come from a locally elected board of directors. The Grant District is a non-taxing district. It remains economically viable by obtaining contracts and grants from various agencies. The district is truly local people addressing local concerns with local solutions. The John Day River drainage is throughout Grant County and has important habitat for spring Chinook salmon and summer steelhead. Grant Soil and Water Conservation District has been an integral part in cooperative efforts with the landowners to improve fish habitat in a manner which often improves the efficiency of irrigation and increases production. It is the district's firm belief that man and nature can coexist. We can have healthy fish and wildlife habitat and have productive agriculture and forests. Of significant importance is the district's role in constructing fish-friendly irrigation diversions. Over the last 9 years, 31 push-up diversions and other undesirable structures have been replaced by fish-friendly devices such as pump stations and infiltration galleries. Particularly popular are lay-flat stanchion structures, which the district has refined over the last several years. These structures are constructed with precast concrete blocks and interlocking sheet steel pilings. Using these types of ready-made materials allows for quick installation with minimal in-stream excavation, while still producing a permanent, well-anchored diversion structure. During irrigation season, as river flows fall, these stanchions are placed in the upright position. Using this type of permanent structure allows a landowner to divert irrigation water without annually disturbing the stream bed or banks while still providing fish passage. With cost share, these diversions become an effective way to more efficiently divert water to irrigation systems. This is beneficial to fish habitat and the landowner. Project implementation does not happen automatically. Interested landowners contact the district, and if the project is viable, it's added to a waiting list, which is often 2 to 3 years. Engineering in the office and in the field are the next steps. This occurs simultaneous with the application for permits. Project construction commences often with time constraints. Many of the projects which are constructed in-stream can only be done during a 30 or 45-day work window during the summer to protect salmon and steelhead.
The creek is much more manageable for us than it used to be. The fishing game like the fish bypasses we put in, and so I think everybody's happy with these structures, and that's what we're trying to shoot for, is where we can have everybody happy and everybody pleased.
Over the last 16 years, The district has partnered with Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife to construct over 200 miles of riparian fencing. The purpose of these fences is to reduce impact on stream banks, riparian vegetation, and improve water quality. Some of these fences have been in existence for over 15 years, and the monitored fish spawning habitat and riparian conditions have improved dramatically. Juniper riprap is also being used successfully to protect stream banks.
Over the years, I used to look at those raw cut banks. I remember when the bulldozers were in the river channeling on different flood control projects, and we realized that if we continued with that type of river management, that we were going to have that serious problems would accrue not only to the fishery, but also to the other resource values. And I look at Fish and Wildlife as just a spin-off of good land and water stewardship. And it's stewardship that was my primary focus over the years in working with different people to try to solve these problems.
A nursery was established in the early 1990s by the Monument SWCD. This nursery has been an integral part of restoration projects in Grant County.
I'm Robert Stubblefield, the coordinator of the North Fork John Day Watershed Council. We're here in the Monument SWCD Native Plant Nursery. This land was donated by our chairman, Jack Cavender. He's donated a lot of labor in the nursery, and most of the planting stock for the John Day Basin restoration projects come out of this nursery. We have wild roses, red osier dogwood, mountain alder, black cottonwood, and a wide variety of native species.
Ridgetop to ridgetop watershed management is essential for healthy ecosystem. Along with many river-related projects, the Grant SWCD has also taken on the role of coordinating the noxious weed program for the county. These invaders have no natural predators and can easily reduce the biodiversity of healthy watersheds. Grant Weed Control uses a wide variety of methods to control noxious weeds, including controlled burns, herbicides, biological control, and mechanical means. Invaders such as Medusa head rye have greatly reduced the biodiversity of the Murders Creek Wildlife Refuge. When this weed takes over, there is very little forage left for big game or livestock. Grant SWCD, through its Noxious Weed Control Department, has been working in cooperation with Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife and the Bureau of Land Management to restore this valuable big game winter range and summer rangeland for livestock. Biological control is also a method used to control noxious weeds in Grant County. In cooperation with the Oregon Department of Agriculture, we are seeing success against leafy spurge, one of the 10 worst weeds in the world. This insect, Aphtona lacertosa, tiny flea beetle, is beginning to take its toll. Each year, 40,000 to 50,000 of these tiny insects are captured and redistributed. From the late 19th century until the middle of the 20th century, the search for gold had a negative impact on riparian areas and lush meadows. Gold dredges such as this one in neighboring Baker County left huge tailing piles. Once fertile meadows were left nearly unproductive. Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, in cooperation with the Umatilla National Forest and private landowner Carter Kearns, is restoring these tailing piles by returning the land to its natural contour. This creates a natural floodplain which promotes rapid vegetative growth and a functioning floodplain, allowing smaller gravels to be deposited in the stream which are necessary for spawning. This project rehabilitates 2.3 miles of Granite Creek. This unique uplands project protects riparian habitat while aiding in the distribution of cattle and improving water quality. A 50-acre riparian area was fenced to keep cattle from overgrazing the area. Springs were developed with water troughs in the uplands and pumped to other areas using solar power. This cooperative project provided cleaner water for livestock, aided in cattle distribution, and protected riparian habitat.
It's been a good project for our livestock end. We've got a lot better watering system for our stock, and and over a period of time we will go back and graze this riparian area on a limited basis. I think probably the benefit to it for us is that it gets the cattle out into areas on this pasture that we haven't been able to get to because the cattle have come back down and worked the easier ground.
My name is Kyle Sullivan. I work for the Water Resources Department in Canyon City, Oregon. I've been asked to talk about the Rodeo Creek project. Essentially, there's two land ownerships on Rodeo Creek, the lower end of Rodeo Creek. Stan Herman's is up here, and Tom Campbell is down here. What we were facing on Rodeo Creek, given the irrigation practices of both landowners, was that certain sections of the creek, which is important for steelhead, were becoming dewatered. There was a section up here and down here. To change the problem, what we did is we worked with Stan Herman's, Oregon Water Trust, the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board, and the North Fork John Day Watershed Council to get engineering assistance, devise some plans, and some funding to put the project in the ground. For the Herman's part of it, what we did is Stan had an existing reservoir. And what we were able to do is build a pipeline from this reservoir to the smaller one that would serve some lands, irrigated lands out this way. The objective of the project was to allow Stan Herman's to divert water during periods of high flow out of the channel of Rodeo Creek into this reservoir and store it. That way, when the flows in Rodeo Creek begin to drop off, he would no longer need to divert this live flow onto his fields. He would divert the water out of the reservoir onto the fields. And that way, live flow could continue on by and provide habitat for steelhead.
This has been a really win situation for me as an irrigator because it gives me more water, and it's really helped the stream and the fish habitat because it's running natural during the low time of the year in the summer.
Bates Pond was a log pond for the Bates Mill from the 1920s through 1974, when the mill and most of the town were torn down. Many of the buildings were moved into the John Day Valley.
I'm Tim Underwagner, and I'm the district fish biologist for Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, and we're here at Bates Pond. Bates Pond was an old log pond for the Bates Mill, and it was used to store logs. We've always wanted to get steelhead above the dam here, and last year we were finally able to do that. There had been no steelhead in Bridge Creek upstream from here for 60 or 70 years, and through our fish passage and screening program in John Day, we were able to build a fish ladder over the pond and have steelhead use Bridge Creek for the first time in 60 or 70 years.
A great deal of energy is being expended by a dedicated team in Grant County in Oregon to ensure that healthy watersheds, fish and wildlife habitat, and a resource-based economy can coexist and prosper. Like the flow of the John Day River, which is the lifeblood of this basin, the work never ceases. But with continued cooperation and a genuine community effort, this old river can remain a great and valued resource.